The key component of a digital transformation is indeed data. Big data is not a new concept, but the scope of use it provides is constantly increasing. Data is heavily used by insurance companies, government bodies, and most recently for monitoring the spread of COVID-19. The technology for extracting feedback from data is also constantly improving. With this process, however, the potential risks from data breaches are also evolving.
Privacy versus security is an interesting and ongoing debate. I think there is a certain resistance in the workplace to what can be perceived as kind of monitoring and surveillance activities, and that kind of intrusion of privacy, and people can be quite resistant in the workplace, that view that their privacy is being intruded upon. I think because it's generally perceived that there will be negative consequence and it's being used kind of an opportunity to kind of punish or penalise people for activities that might not be fully aligned to the kind of cultural norms. I think it's an interesting one when you compare what people do in the kind of corporate and work environment compared to what they'll do in their personal lives, because the growth of and extensive use of social media has proven that actually people will sacrifice quite a lot of their privacy for the interests of sharing and interaction and some of the advantages it can give them. I think one of the challenges you've had across kind of public sector and broader corporate workplaces is people not playing up the benefits in the same way that people get through their consumer lives about why it's an advantage to have access to that type of information and run through it. I think I've generally typified it as saying all privacy controls are security controls. Not all security controls are designed around protecting privacy. And that balance between kind of a need to know still exists very much in the workplace. There's some interesting ethical questions about how far you go, and certainly we've worked extensively in kind of public safety and some of those other forums where you basically go, you know, what is the balance here between protecting somebody's privacy and keeping them safe? And you can apply that in a system context as well. What's the balance between understanding this information is being used appropriately and risk of exposure to it, and there's always going to be competing concerns in that space. So you know, the more disruptive and innovative an organisation, the more risks they tend to be comfortable taking around data in terms of exposing the privacy around it. But that's because they can see the balance of advantages it can give not only to them but to their customers in terms of what it can really bring them.